Here is my Spokeshave. I've had this one about 35 years, and as far as I know, this design is an industrial version of the original Spokeshaves or draw knives that were used for creating spokes on wheels. Let me just take it apart for you so you can see the various bits here. Here's a sort of capping plane, and that holds a capping iron rather, and that holds this blade in place. Here it is. It's a flat blade in that it has no bevel on one side and a bevel on the other that is down into the wood. So you put the bevel side down into the blade, into the back here, and these couple of knobs there, they adjust the movement forwards and backwards. So we get underneath, we get the blade coming out or in to give us different thicknesses of shavings. On this blade, on this Spokeshave, you can see that I've actually polished up this face. This is the face that rests on the wood, like so. So it's nice to have that nice and smooth and polished. So these blades you can replace. They do wear out eventually, and I'll show you now how to sharpen it, that blade, how to set the blade, and then how to use this. It's a very useful tool, and one I enjoy using very much. Here's the blade. The bevel on one side is about 25 degrees, something like that. The shape, I have mine very slightly rounded, so it's not truly flat. I find that's a little bit more useful. Flat is great, straight across, but slightly rounded is okay. This bevel of 25 degrees, something like that, you can make it hollow ground before, off the grinding wheel again, or just straight flat like a carving chisel. So this blade has to be put onto the stone, and you can feel this blade rocking between the heel and the edge like this. You actually feel that going across, and you can sit this blade on the bevel. Now this is a very small blade, and your fingers get in the way very easily. So what I've done is I've got a piece of wood like this, and I've put a split in there with a saw, and then the blade fits this way here into the edge there. So now I've got a nice way of holding it when I'm sharpening, like that. Keep my fingers out of the way. So it's a good idea to make a little jig like that and keep it for when you want to sharpen up the blade. So there are two ways of doing it. If your stone is wide enough, you can go just like a chisel, like so. Or if you want to, you can actually come along this way, or left or this way, and actually sharpen it in this direction. It's entirely up to you, but essentially what you do, oil on this fine translucent stone as always, and then either you're sharpening like so, having found that bevel, backwards and forwards like this, or to the side like this, trying to keep that angle the same. And then when you feel the burr being created, this little wire edge, which you can feel by running your finger like this down the blade, you back it, turn it over, and you just put it on the flat bit of the stone like this, and you take that off. And that's it. I don't strop the blade, I just go straight as it is. Let me show you how to reassemble these various parts. The blade goes in bevel side down, and be careful when you go through this not to hit the edge of the metal. So there's the blade through, and it's sitting on these little wheels, which I'm going to pull back, and as I do that I'm looking down here and I can see how much blade is sticking out. From there I just put this cap on, which is also, by the way, flattened, so it gets a nice big bite on it, and that I put in there. So that's just a sort of firm fit. So turning it over, what I do, because I can't show you this to the camera, but I look down across this front edge here, and I see how much blade is sticking out, and I think you can see here that I've got a lot more on one side than the other. So if I was to pull this back, whoops, this way here, and push this one forward, I could even up that blade, Then I sight down here, across there, and I just see the little bit, like a hair's breadth of blade sticking out. And there should be a gap between the front of the spokeshave and the edge of the blade for the shaving to go through. So that can't be too close. So that's essentially it, and I will try that on a test piece of wood, and I'll adjust that accordingly. And then when I've got that right, I make sure those are tight and this is pushed down against that blade, and then I'm ready to go. At the back of most spokeshaves you'll find this depression on either side. This is for your thumb, like so. And you put your fingers in this little concavity here. So you're holding it like this, and you push forward with your thumb like so. This tool is very good for taking off edges, like so, but also surfaces. And you can round over surfaces like that. So you're pushing from behind like this. I tend to have it at a bit of an angle like so, so I'm getting a bit of a slice cut as I go along. And you can set how thick the shaving is from here, so you can do bigger shavings to begin with and then finer cuts to end with. You can also turn the tool round and put your fingers on there like this and pull it like so. I prefer this way because you have your body weight behind it. This way is all to do with your arms, but it's very useful to be able to do that as well. So there it is, the spokeshave.